The circle of people you spend your time with is going to have a direct impact on how much money you make. If you're constantly around people who normalize staying broke, who are bad with money, who spend everything they make and never think about investing, it slowly lowers your own expectations without you even realizing it. And before you know it, you're living a life that feels average, not because you chose it, but because it's what you're surrounded by. Now, at the same time, there are things you simply can't control, whether you were born into money, what your parents taught you about finances, what kind of environment you grew up in. I wasn't born into money either, but I also wasn't starting from zero. So there's a big range in between those two extremes that a lot of people fall into, which is exactly who this message is for. If you're someone who feels like your environment isn't pushing you forward, or worse, is actively holding you back, then you need to recognize that early because the longer you stay in that same circle without questioning it, the more it's going to compound in the wrong direction for you. And on the flip side, if you've been fortunate enough to be around people who think bigger, who talk about investing, are smart with their money, don't take that for granted because that kind of environment is an advantage if you lean into it. What I want to do in this video is break this down for you and show you how to start shifting your environment and your daily actions so that you're not just drifting through your 20s, but you're actually putting yourself in a position to build wealth. I'm going to walk you through some of the mindset shifts that changed everything for me, along with specific things I started doing differently in my own life that moved me out of a passive, go with the flow guy into one where I was really thinking long term and big picture. So let's not waste any more time. Let me jump into it. The first thing you have to do if you actually want to move forward towards a wealth building mindset is take a real, honest audit of your current situation. And I mean brutally honest to the point where you're not sugarcoating anything or lying to yourself about where your time, where your money, and where your energy are actually going in the environment that you're living in. People think they're doing all right or figuring it out, but they've never actually slowed down long enough to look at the habits from the outside and call it what it is. So for the next month, I want you to keep living your normal life. Don't try and overhaul everything overnight, but start paying attention like an outsider looking in. And notice what your weekends look like, how often your money is being spent without any thought, and how you feel after certain financial decisions that you make. And again, let me be clear with this. I'm not telling you that you need to go off the grid, cut everybody off, and try to be some lone wolf, because that's actually a mistake a lot of guys make in their 20s, and it usually backfires. Men need a strong circle. We need community. We need people around us. But what we don't need is to blindly follow the habits of a group that may be keeping you stuck. So, a real life example that almost anyone can relate to is let's just jump into a typical weekend. Let's assume you're a 25-year-old dude and it's Friday or Saturday night, and the plan is to go out, hit a couple bars, maybe a club. And before you leave the house, you already know how this is going to play out. You're calling an Uber there and back. Drinks are overpriced, so now you're spending way more than you should. You're paying like $8 for a damn Miller Lite. You stay out late, your sleep is cooked, and the next day you're dragging your ass ordering food, not being productive, basically losing the entire day just to recover. And I'm not saying never go out because I've been in this boat before. I did this same thing for like 2 years. Most of this is really just coming from my experience, and I'm trying to give a warning to those younger people out there watching this video. The message that I'm trying to get across here is that if this becomes your default every single weekend, if this becomes your lifestyle, you need to recognize what this is actually costing you. Not just in money, but in time, energy, and your financial momentum in the decade that matters the most towards building your financial freedom. So maybe instead of doing that every weekend, and like I almost was doing this every weekend, right when I was graduating from college. What I would recommend, like you just start mixing in alternatives where you're still social, having a good time, but it's more sustainable. That could look like having people over, doing a game night, watching UFC fights, March Madness, grilling, whatever it is. Where you're still hanging out, still enjoying yourself in good company, but you're not burning money and sacrificing your entire next day in the process. Absolutely, I think you should go have a few beers with the guys. I'm all for relaxing. But the thing here is, you're in control of your environment instead of letting an environment and a peer pressure situation control you. And that right there is step one to becoming more financially aware of your environment in a good way. The second thing I want to talk about in this video is you need to start acting like the person you're trying to become. So you need to be somebody who puts their life into action because this is where most people get stuck. They wait until they have more money, more confidence, more knowledge to start thinking about building the financial life that they want. A wealth building mindset isn't something you magically just wake up with one day. It is built through small, consistent actions that signal to yourself that you want to take your future seriously. That means you got to start treating your money with respect. Start thinking like 5 or 10 years ahead in the future. You got to mentally shift your way out of thinking paycheck to paycheck just as much as you physically are trying to improve your financial situation. Staying broke is almost more psychological than it is physical. Even if you're not financially struggling, you still got to be on the offensive, or else you could find yourself 10 years down the road wondering where all your time and effort went. Your money can disappear in an instant in front of your eyes if you're not careful. I love talking about real life examples here, so I'm going to jump into another one on how you should handle your paycheck. Most people get paid and they immediately start spending based on what's left over once your bills get paid. If there's anything remaining after you go on a spending spree, you might consider saving or investing it. That right there is a broke person mindset. That is the wrong way to be thinking about money once it hits your account. Someone who is serious about building wealth flips that mindset completely. Instead of waiting to see what's left in the bank account after getting paid, a wealth building mindset type of person is going to decide ahead of time that a certain percentage is getting invested no matter what, no matter if the market's at all time highs or at all time lows. And that person is going to move money first before even having the chance to spend it. And it took me damn near 3 years to figure this out. So, like for me back in the day, I would get paid on a Friday, and I was just thinking how much fun I was going to have on the weekend and what I could afford to do. And once I started shifting that mindset, I started thinking about how much I can invest, how much I could save, how much I could put towards that side hustle, because I wanted to live a different life later on and be financially free. It's a small shift that probably takes a while to notice, but over time, it completely changes how you think about money. I started doing this personally a little too late, but at least I started. And I felt like it helped me investing so much, especially towards my 401k. I truly am thankful that I just automated this shit right off the bat because I really would have screwed up if I didn't automate my 401k. But I had this maxed out for the first 3 years of my career. And that small mindset shift that I had and the discipline has helped me build an almost $200,000 portfolio in my 401k at 27 years old. So I know everyone has the capability to do this, and I want this for everyone. And the third and final thing I have for you guys today is that you need to start raising your personal standards and putting yourself in winning environments that force you to level up. This ties directly into the first point about auditing your current situation, because one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is that they never put themselves in positions where more is expected of them. That's why awareness is so important, because once you see what's actually going on in your financial life, your social life, you just can't unsee it. It's easy to settle into a comfortable 9 to 5. It's easy to collect a steady paycheck, to live a stable life. But if you don't have goals for where you want to end up, that comfort can turn into a trap where nothing really changes for you for years. If you want to take the next leap financially, you have to be willing to push beyond what is easy and what is expected of you. Every single one of you watching this is capable of more, I know it. But you have to raise the bar for yourself, figure out what actually drives you, and then go after it with purpose. So again, the third real life example of this is how you approach your time outside of your 9 to 5. Most people just clock out, go home, and mentally check out for the rest of the night. But if you want to break out of the go with the flow mindset and start thinking about a wealth building mindset, you need to use these hours after work with purpose. For me, that looks like coming home, working on these YouTube videos, because I know I can build something meaningful and create real impact over time for you guys. For you watching, it might look like building a side hustle, creating content, even when you don't feel like it. developing a higher income skill, putting yourself around people who are further ahead of you, so naturally you start thinking bigger. When you surround yourself with people who are winning, when you surround yourself with people who have that wealth building mindset, it's going to raise your standards by default. And yeah, that's going to be uncomfortable at first because you're stepping outside of what's normal for you, but that's exactly the point. Hard things aren't supposed to feel easy, or everyone will be doing them. Over time, what used to feel like extra effort becomes your new baseline. And now, instead of just maintaining your situation, you're actively creating opportunities to grow your income and work towards building financial freedom for you. Think of it like leveling up in a video game. Early on, you got to put in the reps, you got to do the work, you got to earn your way to the top. But once you're there, you start to gain advantages that other people don't have. Life works literally the same way. You stay consistent, you think long term, before you know it, people will be wondering how you got there, and they won't realize that it was built day by day, and it was built by hard work and discipline. So that's all I got for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the content, and leave a comment down below if you are looking to gain your financial freedom by having a wealth building mindset. As always, thanks for staying to the end of the video. You have an awesome attention span, and I'll see you all in the next one.